Hey guys, and welcome back to Go On Overland. In this one, we're talking about a bit of gear that'll get you out of a sticky situation. Now guys, that's a snatch strap. I just picked up this one. I got it for Christmas. This is the all top. We're gonna go through some of the specs and a situation where I recently had to use it. Now guys, this is kind of an entry to mid-level snatch strap. And so I got my eye on a Yankum snatch strap. That's gonna be down the road. That was kind of a couple $100 more than this one. But this is 4 inches wide and 30 feet long. So guys, it's actually rated for 46,500 pounds. Now my rig here, the truck and the camper, you know, this isn't a diesel, so it's not weighing as much as some of the 2500s. I've actually had it on a scale quite a few times, and it comes in just below 6,000 pounds, which is of course 3 tons. The camper behind it is around 4,000 pounds. But the way we have this thing loaded, you can go ahead and add another 2,000 on there. So 6 plus 4 plus 2, you know, you're looking at 12,000 pounds. Again, guys, that's 6 ton. And this strap here is 46,000. So you really want your strap to be rated 3 times the weight limit. So that's kind of a rough estimate. You know, guys, always make sure and check with the manufacturer and what they're saying, what you should be running. But that's kind of a rough estimate that I found. So of course this thing is way over that. You know, I always want to make sure my gear is going to get me out of a situation if I'm fully loaded. You know, we can't add a ton more weight on this truck, pun intended, but if we were to add even a little more, I just want to make sure that we're always able to get us out, of course, but who knows who you're going to be coming across. Maybe you're in a caravan, maybe you're working with some other guys on the trail or doing whatever. You come across some guy off in a ditch, you want to help them out. You certainly don't want to break your gear in the process of getting them out. So now I want to talk a bit about the scenario I went through. We're going to talk about this strap as well as some of the areas maybe for room for improvement and what I could look for in the future. So guys, in this scenario, I was at a park. You know, we were doing this craft fair business on the weekends. We got there and the presenter told me just to head out onto the grass. So I went to pull out there, and of course I caught a little something in my spirit telling me not to do it, but I was sailing out there and I hit, as they put it, the one soft spot in the park. Now there were trailers and other rigs out there, just the place that I chose to get into the park was totally wrong. But luckily, because I get stuck so often, I let off the gas and made sure I didn't get it buried down to the axles. So guys, I really believe that probably a golf cart could have got me out, you know, a Honda Civic, something like that. But we got a mate with the F-150 and he backed up and was ready to pull me out. Now let's walk through this scenario just a little bit and talk about some of the things that went right and some of the things that could have potentially went wrong. Now this wasn't a snatch scenario, so he didn't have to give it any kind of gas or pull on it like that. In a snatch scenario with this rope, it's 100% nylon with 20% or 22% stretch. And so what that does is, as he pulls with his vehicle, then the rope expands and then the rope kind of pulls me out in a sense. Rather than like a chain or a solid rope or solid strap, you just tug and then that just yanks just as hard as possible. This is more of a soft, gradual tug out, if you will. So we didn't have to do that. He just barely hit the gas and was able to get me going. Now we chose to go from the back because, again, with the 30-foot rope and with his all 4 tires being on pavement, we felt like that was a great option. This trailer has a frame that goes all the way from the back to the ball hitch. It's all one big, strong, cohesive unit. And we even have a hitch on the back where we've pulled triples with a boat in the past. So it's a good recovery point, especially since we didn't have to yank too hard. You know, I always recommend, if you can, to hook onto the frame of the tow vehicle and pull out that way. But none of that was kind of an issue. Where we got into the issues was more of where I connected it. Now on my end, I was able to loop it under the bumper and around that hitch that was welded on there. And that was really strong and a really great way to do it. In fact, it was really safe, but the concern was for my snatch strap. Now these things have that abrasive layer added on to where you connect it. But the fear there was just if you really were pulling really hard or just ramming it, that you could find some metal edges around that hitch and different spots where you'd be tearing into it. So that's really the only issue I had with that end. But on his end, all I did is I took this and I looped it on the ball hitch. Now the concern with that is if you really had to go for it and do a snatch recovery, that could slip off and then the rope could go flying off, maybe hit someone or do some damage to one of the vehicles. A first step for that in any scenario is get what's called a damper, kind of a bag like this with some weight to it, and you lay it over that connection. So if this comes loose for any reason, you have a bit of a damper with some weight on it, and that'll keep this rope to the ground. It'll keep all that live action coming straight down rather than flying up kind of crazy. Now the fix to both sides would be a soft shackle. What that is it's a rope, kind of a coiled rope with a loop on one end and a knot on the other end, and it goes through there and it holds tight whenever you're pulling. It's a really safe way to connect two ropes together or to connect the snatch strap to either rig. What that would have done for me on my end is that would take all the force, and that would, if anything was getting chewed up, it would be the soft shackle and not my snatch strap. Of course, the money, especially if you get into the yankum rope or something like that, the money is in the snatch strap and not so much the soft shackle. So that's something that you kind of want to abuse more than your actual snatch strap. Now guys, a quick reminder on these ropes, I think this one is maybe 8 to maybe 15 pulls. Just make sure and check with your manufacturer, but that's kind of the lifeline of, that's how many times you could use this before they say it's dead. Now I've seen like Matt's Off-Road Recovery, they run these yankum ropes just for season after season, and they seem to be holding up. Again guys, I think you build a bit of a relationship with your gear and start really understanding when it needs to be replaced, but just something to be kept in mind. Now on his end, we could have found a spot around the hitch or somewhere around the bumper, some kind of recovery point where I could have slipped a soft shackle on there and it would have been a better alternative. Again, we weren't yanking, so I wasn't too concerned, but that's just a bit of gear that I want to get here in the real soon future. So let me know in the comments below if you have a soft shackle that you're running or something that you recommend I have for my rig. Of course, I'm going to be taking into consideration how heavy this load is. You know, if you find a $23 soft shackle on Amazon and you think you got a good deal, see that it's rated for your rig and how much weight you plan on pulling out. Another option, of course, is a steel shackle, and a lot of people are turning away from those. I still think it's a great option if you have a point on your rig that you could attach it. They're a bit, you know, if you might need a screwdriver or something to get it on and off. And of course, people are worried, again, that you have a little steel ring flying through the air if something goes south. Well guys, I think that'll do it for this one. You know, I'm gonna put a link to this in the description below. Pretty soon you'll see me adding some soft shackles and maybe even that yankum rope down the road. But guys, I hope you're enjoying the content. Make sure and subscribe. That's gonna build the channel. It's gonna help us a lot. If you would, hit the bell. You'll get notified anytime we put out another video. Guys, we'd love to hear your thoughts on snatch straps, what you think of this one. Maybe you have a yankum rope. We'd love to hear about that as well. Let me know down in the comments. Until the next video, guys, God bless you. Get up and go on. In the great outdoors, forever free.